Hello there, and today I'm playing something a little bit different. As you can see, this is actually Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn. A colleague of mine actually put me onto this game, and to be honest, I'd been eyeing it up for a little while, and I'd never really got around to trying it, although I'd wanted to. I just thought, it's just going to be another MMO, same as all the others I've played that have kind of been interesting at first and then gone downhill rather rapidly. You kind of lose interest and stop playing, and you think, why did I bother with that? I knew that was going to happen. And of course the comparisons that happen to a specific MMO in particular are there as well. So I thought I would give this one a try, and I've got to say, so far I'm impressed. I've actually really been enjoying myself with this game, and it's not due to it's not just due to the Final Fantasy universe, it's everything that's incorporated into the game itself. There are certain things that, yes, are very similar to said MMO that I'm not going to speak the name of, but there's also things that are very, very different, and this is one of the temples. It is actually called Sunken Temple. It's not the same as in that MMO, though. However, so what we're going to do is we're going to just take a look into the video and just see kind of what's different, what's similar. Now, immediately you can notice that the graphics are different, aren't they? It looks a lot nicer than that other MMO. And basically I'm playing a Bard class, which is a kind of archer but has the ability to use music to buff or debuff people. So basically we're running into this boss here, and it's a very simple boss, although I do mess up and die a couple of times. But I'm not going to go into the boss or anything like that. This isn't a walkthrough. I just want to talk about the kind of things I like about the game. One of the things I do love, and I'm going to say it first and foremost because it's the first thing you notice, is the music. The music is amazing. I normally turn the music off on an MMO. I'll put my own music on and off I go, grind away. I've kept the music on this because it just goes really, really well with the game. They've done an amazing job on the whole orchestral side of things. I can't even describe it. It's just, it puts you in the right mood to want to play the game, which I think is a huge factor as to why I'm enjoying this so much, because with a good musical score you can actually allow yourself to be absorbed into the game a little easier. Next is the classes, and I'm going to be honest, the classes are fairly similar to other MMOs. You've got your archer, you've got your warrior, you've got your mage type, your healer type. There are no rogues though, as of yet. So nobody coming up behind you and backstabbing you for two reasons. One, no rogues, and two, PvP is very lacking in this game. It's very PvE friendly, and to be quite honest with you, I'm actually enjoying that, because so many games recently have tried to centre in on the PvP aspect, and it's never really worked. It's been broken in some way. One class has been overpowering everybody else, and there's nothing you can do about it except sit there and go, well, gee, I wish I'd rolled that class. Oh wait, let's go and roll that class like everybody else is doing. So I'm enjoying the fact that it is PvE only. So at the moment, I think there is a kind of arena type thing that you can do, but I've not really tried it, so I can't really say. I haven't really wanted to, let's put it that way. I've been enjoying the game as it is. There's plenty going on for you to not even have to think about PvP, to be quite honest with you. So I've been really enjoying it. So you don't have to worry about anybody like jumping on you whilst you're trying to quest or anything. And the story in this game is worth questing for. It is a brilliant story. I've actually been kind of drawn into that as well, along with the music. The story and the music go hand in hand, and it pulls you in. It really makes you feel like you're playing a kind of Final Fantasy game, yes, but at the same time it's an MMO. One thing I will say I'm not terrifically fond of is that the voice acting in the game, when it happens, because it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, is rather weak. I'm going to be honest, that's the one downside about the story. When they put the voice acting bits in, oh my lord. I'll let you find out for yourself if you decide to try it, or if you've played it. You'll probably agree with me. At least the English, the English voice acting is atrocious. To be quite honest with you, it might be better in the Japanese voice acting. I've no idea. So what we're looking at is a game that is very, very centered in one direction. Really, it's the story, it's the PvE side, and there's many, many, many things that they've thrown in there to keep you kind of plugging away at it. Now, questing isn't just quests alone. You don't just get quests saying, go fetch this, go kill that, go tickle some person with a feather or something, although you do have a quest where you have to dance an awful lot. Bit weird. And the hairdresser quest as well. Very worth doing, incredibly funny. I was actually wetting myself for a little while after that one. They do have a sense of humour. So, there's not just the quests. You've got things called fates, which are in-world activities that happen, like little mini invasions and things. Guild Wars 2 kind of style. They did something very similar, except, well, I say except because Guild Wars 2 did this as well. Some of them will eventually lead up to a kind of boss creature that appears, and people can just pool in together and help out. So, yeah, that's something that was taken from Guild Wars 2, and I welcome that. Because that actually made leveling in Guild Wars 2 fun. So, where they failed was the end game, and that's where this game doesn't fail. So, they've kind of taken these things and improved on it, really. The original Final Fantasy MMO that came out failed quite miserably from what I've heard. I didn't play it, but from what I've heard, it didn't do very well at a lot of things, but it really feels like they've actually learnt from that. And they've come back and they've said, right, what can we do to make this interesting? And the fates are very good. You get a huge chunk of experience, you get some money, you get some other goodies here, there and everywhere. Occasionally you can get a little bit of loot from them. It's just an alternative way of leveling, basically, not just quests. You might be doing your quests and a fate might just appear around you and you'll be like, oh god, what, oh dear, and you kind of get dragged into it. But usually my experience has been when a fate starts, a huge group of people arrive and you just do it together and you get through it, you get a load of experience for it, you feel good, you go yay, okay, and you move on back to your quest, you know. On top of that, you've got things called guild hests. Anyone who's played the game already knows what I'm talking about. They probably don't even need to listen to this and zone out. Anyone who hasn't and they've been looking at it, guild hests, if I was to use World of Warcraft as an example, guild hests are kind of like the scenarios at the minute. They're just short little instances that you can just run in about 5 minutes or so. And, just a little something to kind of just go through. You get a nice chunk of experience at the end, a nice bit of money at the end. And it's just something quick and fun to break up questing. And you know what? It works. I've used it all the time. If I ever get bored of questing, I either go and do fates or guild hests. Sorted. Done. It's quite good. Then you've got your dungeons as well. This is one of them. Like I said, it's called the Sunken Temple of something or other. Can't be bothered looking the exact name up. I know, lazy, but what can you do? And you've got these dungeons. These dungeons are beautiful. I mean, graphically, and the way they play, amazing. You can go from, like, this instance, for example, you can go from an indoor section like this, you run up some stairs and you're outdoor, you'll see it in a minute, you're suddenly outdoors and the sun's beaming down and it just looks amazing when it happens. But not only that, they've put little things into these dungeons, just tiny little details that you might completely overlook and not think anything of, but it does change the dynamic of how they work. It's not just a simple run through, kill A, B, C, get to Z, kill that, done. It does, I will admit, have a certain degree of that. It's always going to have, doesn't matter what game you play. What I will say is there are little tiny things in this dungeon, like you'll have seen it just before, those big head block things. You have to kill them on a certain plate to open a door. If you don't kill them on the plate, they revive themselves and they keep jumping around. But you can't get through the door unless you kill them on the plate. So you've got to kill them on the plate, run through the door, sorted. And I think that's just a nice little touch. It's something that makes you kind of really... You don't even realise you're doing it. You've just got to do something different than just run from A to B. You've got to do that little activity that lets you get through to the next room. And it's a small touch. You might have heard the bike going past, I don't know. It's a small touch, but it's a touch nonetheless that if it wasn't there, you'd sit there and go, this is really dull. I'm just running from A to B. And with it, you kind of feel like you've got to work as a group to get it in the right position and then kill it and blah, blah, blah. So it does have an effect. And as you can see, little purple lines on the floor as well. When you run into a room, that is the block-off point for the boss. And when you pull the boss, instead of other MMOs where you pull the boss, doors slam shut, anybody who's outside gets left outside, and you're all screaming at them for being slow, or they're screaming at you for being too fast, or you're just screaming at each other because you like screaming at each other, I don't know. In this game, once you pull the boss, you have 15 seconds before a big purple barrier comes up in that doorway. And if you're not inside within 15 seconds, you get locked out. And then it's your own damn fault for not being inside 15 seconds after the pull. So it's a good system, it works. It means you can't cheat it, you can't just run out, reset the boss and go back in again. But it also means that if you are stupid enough to get locked out, it's your own damn fault, it's nobody else's fault. Unless, of course, you've said AFK, gonna make a coffee, have a wee, walk the dog, whatever, in the middle of an instance, like you do. And they decide to pull without you, in which case that's their fault. But, yeah. The bosses are actually tough. I'm going to be honest with you, the instances in general are actually quite tough. If you don't do it properly, you're going to die. It reminds me very, very much of back in Vanilla WoW, it reminds me of that kind of difficulty where you couldn't just pull everything and stand there and go, I'm invincible. If you pull 2 or 3 packs too many, and that's usually more than 1 or 2 packs, you pay for it, you die, you suffer horribly, and everybody gets trampled and everything. So it's very much like that again, and I like that feeling. I like the feeling that you're not overpowered, that it is a struggle to get through these things. Bosses take a while to kill. You can't just nuke them down in 10 seconds. Even packs, trash packs, take a little while to get down, and you've really got to work at it. As you can see as well, when abilities are used, there is the red outline on the floor, and that's an outline saying, don't stand in me. Now, some people don't like this, some people do. Personally, I don't mind it. It's as the difficulty increases, and you can watch it on numerous different videos. You'll see that it happens so fast and so frequently that more often than not, you're going to get caught by something. So it doesn't even matter in the long run. It's an indication as where to stand, where not to stand, and there are numerous games coming out quite soon that use a similar thing. Anybody? Wildstar, maybe? Have you seen it there? I have. But it's there, and it's there for a reason. It's not as easy as just sidestepping sometimes. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And the harder the modes of the bosses that you do, the more difficult it becomes to evade everything. But I like this. I like that it is quite difficult. I've been in situations where we've pulled too much and we've just got trampled. There's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. But I like that. I miss that difficulty. I miss that feeling of you're not invincible, you're not indestructible. Yes, an archer such as myself can tank one mob for a set piece of time before it all starts to go horribly wrong. However, you take on too much, you're done for. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, there might be one or two things you can do about it, but you just don't. You don't go over pulling because you're going to get killed. Simple. And I've probably said that about 7 or 8 times now, so I'm going to stop saying that. However, one thing I am really enjoying, very, very much so, at the minute, is just the simple choice you get. It's not all questing, it's not all doing dungeon runs and this, that and the other. You've got such a wide variety of things to pick from, and the story quests are brilliant. The story is actually involving, it's actually quite shocking in places, it's also quite nice in places. It's you know, Squaresoft always do it right with Final Fantasy stories. Hang on, I'm going to retract that one. They don't always do it right with Final Fantasy stories, but when they do it right, they do it very right. And so far in my story that I've got up to, and I'm about level 38 now, I've really been impressed. I've been drawn in by the story enough to carry on playing, enough to want to carry on playing, and I'm looking forward to the end game. And there you have it. There is an end game. So all these fates that happen in the world, you know, the things Guild Wars 2 did, and everybody said they're amazing, but Guild Wars 2 was rubbish at end game because there was nothing to do. And it was absolutely true, there was nothing to do. Unless you PvP 24/7, there was absolutely sod all to do. And that's why I stopped playing it. Final Fantasy, however, has endgame. It has your raids, it has primals. And the primals are your Ifrits, your Titans, your... well, I don't know if Shiva's in it or not, your Odin is in it. I know Leviathan's coming into it soon. All your kind of summon types are the primals, and obviously they're going to add to those in expansions, so any that aren't in it at the minute, don't worry, they probably will make an appearance. Now, gameplay wise, how the game actually plays, how the class plays, or, I mean, I've tried a couple. The tanking is actually kind of fun. You can't just run into a group of things and go instant aggro. Yes, nobody else has to worry. No, you can't do that. If you pull a group, you got to be damn ready to work at tanking that group. Otherwise, people are going to have aggro left, right, and centre. You're going to be running around the place like an idiot, and everybody's going to be saying, "What the hell are you doing?" So, how do you do it? Quite easy, actually. It's very, very similar to a vanilla warrior in WoW. And I happen to play that, so I'm very, very good at it. A lot of people aren't, though, and you can tell. Healing, not really done much. In fact, I've not done any healing, so I can't really speak for that. But DPS-wise, my archer, it can occasionally feel a little bit sluggish, but on the whole, I actually quite enjoy it. I've never really played a ranged class before. I normally play a melee class. And I thought, well, you know, I'll break the mold this time. I'll play an archer, turn it into a bard, which I have done, and see how it goes. And you know what? I am shocked to say that I really am enjoying it. The gameplay, admittedly, if you're watching the video, looks a little boring because you're just standing there majoritively. But when things really kick off with an archer and when you really come into your own, is when you can start using your own abilities, using yourself to peel mobs and to kite them around a little bit, just to relieve the tension, your ability to quickly get a target down if needs be, and basically you can do an awful lot with an archer. So even though a lot of the fights sometimes look very stand in one spot and fire, it's not always like that. It doesn't always go that way. So don't be put off by that. I've actually been told I'm an incredibly good archer, which is bizarre because I've never played the class before. Um, very briefly in other MMOs, but it works. Archers work differently in every MMO, so to be told that I'm actually pretty good at it is kind of nice. But you know, it's common sense, really. You can do amazing things with this class, and yeah, I love it. There is one class I want to speak about, though. It's a very, very fun class. It's the Pugilist, or Pugilist. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to go with Pugilist just because it sounds pewy. Yeah, fist fighting. Just, it's brilliant. Love it. I need to level that up a bit more, actually. I'm waffling on. I've been waffling on for a fair while. This, I'm going to break off on the waffling and say this is the final boss of this instance that you're watching. And it's actually quite fun. I actually quite enjoyed this boss. This was the first instance I felt that properly introduced some new ways of doing things, new mechanics, new ideas that I'd not seen before, and I really, really enjoyed this instance. I can see myself doing it a lot more in the near future. Just because the bosses, the way the mobs work, all the little details that they've put in really make this instance stand out to the others before it. Don't get me wrong, the others before it are not boring. They have their own charms, and some of them are pretty damn good. Hauk Manor, for example, I really like that one. I really, really like that one. Not just because we managed to do it with no healer, which was hard. It was not easy. But we did. We somehow managed to pull by. We had a paladin tank kind of healing at the same time as trying to tank. It's very bizarre. And 3 bards. It's probably what got us through it, to be honest. But this instance so far, I've got to say, has probably been my favourite one. And I'm not going to reveal anything about it, because if anybody's not played it and they want to go and try it, I'm telling you, try it. Okay, it's actually worth playing. I've really enjoyed this. I wasn't sure I would. You know, I went into it with open eyes and knowing that previous MMOs I've played have disappointed and left me kind of wanting more and never giving it. This hasn't. This really hasn't. And I've enjoyed every minute that I've had on it, actually. I've been fortunate enough to find a really nice guild, or free company as they're called, with a bunch of players who are just really, really lovely guys and girls. That's right, there are girls who play this game. And, you know, I've really been enjoying it. I really have. I've been having an absolute ball of a time, and it's the first time I've ever felt that way in an MMO since Vanilla WoW. So, hopefully that'll say everything you need to know. Well, probably won't, actually. I've been waffling like mad, and I don't really care, because that's my style. I like to waffle. I waffle a lot. I waffle so much I could probably eat it. So anyway, this was the last boss. This was a little chunk of Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn. If you've watched this and you've never played it before, and you've kind of got an interesting sort of idea about it, or you want to give it a shot, I really do advise giving it a shot. It's free for the first month. You just pay for the game, you get a free month. Try it out, see what you think, and I really, really hope you enjoy. So I will leave it at that for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, I'm really sorry. I'll try and make the next one a little bit better. I've been up all night. But I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you later.